I was incredibly flattered when we were asked or allowed to actually go in and try this crazy idea out, which is to bring professional CAD into the world of kids. So kids in grade school, breaking the professional process down to something that is consumable. So let me quickly talk about this. The idea is that in professional engineering workflow, you start with an idea, you go and you design with a very expensive CAD product, and eventually you work with a bunch of other engineers, and eventually you get to manufacturing. So through that whole process, sometimes it's too complicated to explain, but what we want to do is actually cut it down to bite-sized bits as little apps that kids can access and learn. And while they're exploring the world as they're growing up, they will soon to learn that, you know, drawing with a crayon on a piece of paper is equivalent to maybe styling or coming up with an idea as you're brainstorming on the whiteboard, or eventually as you're styling, putting stickers on a model and adding colors and drawing on it. It's equivalent to maybe a career later on in designing a model to showcase in a special poster in a conference, things like that. So there are these equivalent professional roles that could be grown from these early stages of apps. So what we've done here is produced, we're trying to produce 6 different apps that runs on a browser, and it breaks things down into different silos. So ideation, creation, enhancement, and production. That's kind of the workflow we see. So if I could show you guys, and I would love you to see a really quick demo. The reason why I stole the projector. So here's kind of the website. You can see it's running on Chrome, similar to kind of a Google Class experience where you just log in and you get all your content. They log into an account on a browser, and they have access to our tools. You can start out in one of our apps called Shape It. Maybe you have an idea, or maybe you don't. You can just start shaping it as if it's a piece of clay. In here, you can very quickly start manipulating, maybe, let's say, I have an idea for a moose head. So I'm going to put some antlers on. Let's see, let's build some antlers. Maybe this way? I don't know. But as you can see, it's fully 3D. I can play with it. It doesn't look like a moose very much, but bear with me. And I can actually start making this longer, maybe. And maybe make it fatter. So you can see, for a kid, they can basically spend quite a bit of time, grown-ups too, I've seen, to manipulate their shapes as they need to. Once they're done, maybe they're ready to now move it on to the next stage and colorize it. They don't need to save it out, they don't need to go and install something else. They just switch over to a different app in this ecosystem. And when they do, they can quickly access a different set of tools that allows them to maybe paint. You know, maybe there's a little bit of white here. And then they can also even just draw on this. So I can actually start, this is not going to look like a moose, but you get the point. I can actually modify this quite a bit. I can add eyes if I wanted to. And then eventually, I have something that can maybe show to teachers. So we will have apps that allow you to put together a presentation, to animate. If I want to go back and modify or add maybe a body to this head, I can do that too. So you can see how I'm hopping between 2 different apps in this area, in this environment. And I can actually pull up stuff that I created. So let's say I have a moose body that I created yesterday. Oops, that's the neck. Let's move the head instead. So here I can assemble it. Move the head around. So you can see that a lot of these tools are professional engineers are used to. But for a kid, as they get used to it, they can actually gradually grow from what they have gotten used to here to our professional tools as well. So we kind of build this ability for kids to grow with our software. And we're hoping to reach out to kids from 4 to 14. I know it's a huge age range. A 4-year-old is very different than a 14-year-old. The idea is that as we have this suite of tools, they can basically gravitate to the ones that they're capable of using, and will help them grow in adding features. So that's it. If you have any questions, please come visit me at the booth later, and I'll try to answer them. Thank you very much.